So I want to thank all of you for coming this evening and having an opportunity to dialogue with us, I guess, as they say, with regard to some of the research activities at the Berry Center. One of the unique aspects of the center, actually quite unique, not only in the United States but internationally, is the very close apposition, both physically and intellectually, of the clinical activities and the research activities. We actually emphasize this in a number of programmatic ways, some of which may actually come up in the conversation here. But I think one of the aspects of the center that gives us a particularly unique perspective and approach to the care and research in diabetes, and again, I think you'll hear it from the people who are up here on the panel, is that we make a very explicit effort to integrate clinical care with research so that there's a great deal of exchange, both intellectually and in terms of ideas between people who are in the clinic, so to speak, and the investigators and the fellows and students who work with them. And I think this really contributes to what you'll hear is a very powerful ferment of activity in the clinical research, in the Diabetes Center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce each of these individuals very briefly, ask them to tell you in a minute or two what the general area of their research activity is. Every one of these individuals actually has a fairly broad remit in terms of research, but I'll ask them to mention the highlights, and then once they're done, we'll open this up to your questions or ideas or comments and go forward from there. So we'll start with Megan Sykes, who's a relatively new recruit to Columbia and is the Michael Friedlander Professor of Medicine and the director of the Center for Translational Immunology, and one area where translational immunology is obviously very relevant is in efforts to prevent and treat type 1 diabetes.